Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 4, Episode 12, Hot Potato Soup. This was definitely a good episode. I mean, they revealed a lot to the characters. There are a lot of huge steps going on into the next episode. And there was just a lot happening in this one that I really enjoyed. So we have the Koenigs coming back in. They still play around constantly with the idea that they might not actually be humans in any way, shape, or form. But I think they kind of officially do it. They at least have a sister in this. It's not just another brother or anything. They have an actual sister in this, and she's the oldest out of all the Koenigs. So I thought that said something. I was like, all right, well, there's something to that. So I guess this was like the official answer that they aren't clones or robots or anything like that. And they kind of played around with the idea a little bit. I guess it was really just, I want to say it was Billy that wasn't captured. And he was saying like, yeah, he just, Sam just left me. And at first I thought that was like this weird sort of program thing if they were, robots or whatever, that they just moved all the useful memories to the clone that didn't get captured or the robot that wasn't captured. That's what I was thinking at first. And then it was just like a joke where he was just trying to act like he was really cool and stuff. But I really like what they did in this episode. We have Coulson and the team getting closer and closer to the Darkhold, of course, because they now know exactly where it is, and they have to get it because, of course, one of the Koenigs was kidnapped. So it's like, well, he knows where it is, so we have to get to this secret location. And that's when things all fall apart, and we have May finally being discovered as an LMD, which I thought was very cool. And they also have a very interesting reference for Fitz and his father, like a character that they've never talked about or anything like that. And suddenly Radcliffe happens to know him, and he says, like, he's seen him a few months ago, or at least the LMD version mentioned that. And I don't know what that means. I don't know. I mean, with considering what Radcliffe was doing, it has me very curious how he ran into Fitz's dad. Like, that just makes me curious what that's going to mean. And of course, they wouldn't introduce it if we weren't going to see his father sometime soon. It might not even be this season because, who knows. I'm sure we have, I would say at least 10 more episodes. It just depends on how important they want to make that storyline or if they want to save it for the next season as a story. But they wouldn't introduce it if that wasn't going to be something important further down the line. So I'm actually excited to see how that's going to play out and what Fitz's father is going to contribute to the show. Like, what is his role going to be? Is he going to end up being the villain? Because, once again, how did he end up running into Radcliffe, considering everything Radcliffe does is, kind of bad? So it has me curious what they're going to be doing with that storyline, but I like that they introduced it. They also have, along with the discovery of May, we actually get to see how these LMDs are working, and I thought that was cool. We find out exactly what Ada was doing when she's like modeling those brains from the information she got out of the Darkhold, and they actually did make real brains for both the May LMD as well as the Radcliffe LMD. And that was very cool when they actually, they like pop the head open and it's just like a brain. It's an actual brain in there. And I thought that was very cool. And they also do, of course, the Ghost in the Machine sort of concept when Mac is about to kill the Radcliffe LMD. And he's like, well, why'd you wake me up if you thought I was just a machine? And like, if I am just a machine, or, if your soul comes from something beyond your physical body, then it has to come from beyond my physical body. Why can't I have a soul as well? So they, of course, you kind of have to throw that in there. Whenever you do some sort of robot thing where it's beyond just like a little droid or something like that, you have to do the ghost of the machine sort of concept where it's like, well, I might actually be alive. What do you consider alive and stuff like that? But I like the way they discover it, and you just see the brain, and it's not just programming. It's like an actual brain, and synapses firing off and interacting. And it was very cool, and that's when Simmons realizes, I watched Radcliffe map another brain, and it was May, and that's how they figure it out. And it's right during this time, unfortunately, the May LMD ends up getting the Darkhold, and that's when her programming kind of kicks in again, and so of course she has to defend herself against Coulson, and Daisy ends up coming out and, taking her down. And sadly, all that still doesn't work out too well for the team, because they go through this whole mess inside the secret facility. Radcliffe comes in, he brings in all the guys and everything. They beat them up, they beat up most of them, and then unfortunately Radcliffe still ends up with the Darkhold, And it was, even though of course it's an LMD, it was still kind of sad to see like this version of May where she's like, please take me with you. And he's like, sorry, you weren't built to last. And he just takes off. And I was just like, man, that's still kind of harsh. I mean, obviously this is a machine that had no idea it was a machine, that sort of deal. So it's still there where you have that sort of emotional impact where it's still upsetting. And now, of course, the team knows Radcliffe has May, and they have no idea where the heck she is. They don't know how to find her, and we'll see what happens. The promo for the next episode seems very intense, with Coulson pretty much going all out to get May. And what they did in this episode between the LMD May and Coulson was very interesting. And I was curious, I was very interested in how that was going to play out, because it was clear that they were getting closer and closer. And the LMD version of May has the same feelings, and so they're getting closer. They almost kiss early on in the episode, and then they actually kiss at the end of it. And that's kind of what I was waiting for, because I'm like, once this happens, and then he discovers that she's not real, what's that going to do to him? Like, and then of course once May does come back, how is that, all that stuff going to play out? Like, how long has she been captured? Well, like, we know because of the episodes, but they don't know how long she's been swapped out. And although the LMD may mention, like, her desires, I have all the same feelings and stuff, it's going to be different when she comes back. Like, is Coulson going to try to pick up where, they left off? He couldn't do that because it would be so different. And it's just another emotional aspect, and I'm curious how they're going to deal with that idea for Coulson. And then on the other side of things, the villains are now targeting Coulson because I swear, I feel like the guy almost had a conspiracy theory going on just because Coulson was in like all the extra credit scenes for the old Marvel movies. I feel like that was pretty much it. He's like, he's always here and he's always there. I'm like, yeah, those are like little extra credit scenes. And, him being dead and then coming back to life and stuff like that. And I thought it was just kind of funny. I was like, he didn't really explain much about what he believes or anything like that. It's just like, this guy always happens to be here, so somehow he has to be the entire reasoning for everything. I was just like, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It just seemed like like I said, it was almost like a conspiracy theory sort of deal, where it's like, he's in all these pictures, and he's in all these locations where all these crazy things happen. And I'm just like, well, he was a part of S.H.I.E.L.D. That kind of makes a lot of sense. He's like a high-ranking official in S.H.I.E.L.D. That just makes sense to me. And I just thought it was so weird that that was where the guy was focused. And it was like, I just feel like that's real simple. That's a real simple process he's going with. How Coulson is like responsible for everything because he's there, and then he was dead, and then he's not. And I'm like, I mean, I guess the coming back from the dead thing, that I can understand as being a bit of an issue. Like, all right, there's something crazy there, but him just being in an area, knowing that he was a part of S.H.I.E.L.D., I'm just like, I don't know. Maybe he did know he was a part of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I would assume he'd have to. Like, it's really hard to say. I also don't know if this guy is supposed to be the superior. I'm assuming not. Like, we still haven't met the superior. This is just some dude who's working with Nadir, and he kind of hates machines and stuff like that. Until Radcliffe has Ada like destroy those two guys, and he's like, he thought she was an Inhuman at first, and he's like, no, I built her. He's like, simple and built to last. He's like, okay, and he kind of got more respect for Radcliffe. So we'll see where they go. But I am interested to see how they decide to target Coulson and what they really expect to get out of him. I mean, like I said, he's just a dude who is in S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, that really is the only reason he was there. They just had one character connecting all the movies together by having him in all, a bunch of the extra credit scenes, and that's really it. That's all he did. That was the beginning. I think it started in Iron Man 2 is when he like first showed up, and that's really it. That's like, I just don't know what they're expecting to get out of that, but I still enjoyed this episode. Also, the actor who played the Russian guy was kind of funny, but he's in the show called The 100. I don't know if any of you might watch that, but I thought it was funny seeing him because in that show he's just like an American guy, but in this he was a Russian. I was like, oh, that's interesting. It's always interesting to see actors go into a different show and they do like a totally different accent. I'm like, oh, okay, that's very interesting. But that was just something I had to know, because I'm like, oh, he's probably going to be in this season of the show too, which actually premieres tonight, which I'm excited for. But I like this character. I'm like, okay, I feel like they're going to do something cool with him where, you know, they talk about how he buys all these antique weapons and things like that. And although he hates the mystical side of things, considering it's the Marvel Universe, I'm willing to bet one of those ancient items is going to end up being mystical in some way, shape, or form, or there's going to be something with his ancient weapons or whatever that ends up helping the team. It could be a normal thing where they capture Coulson and Coulson just knows how to use like a really old weapon. It could be that simple, but I feel like him having this ancient collection is somehow going to be relevant to just like things further down the line for this show. That's just my guess because, like I said, it's the Marvel Universe. The simplest things can turn into either magic or aliens, and you just never know. So I'm like, yeah, it collects all this ancient stuff, and they're just ancient weapons at this point. But I don't know, like just in my head, I'm like, it's a comic book universe. Anything can happen, so you just never know with that. But I did enjoy this episode. I was glad that everybody finally figured out the truth about the LMD version of May, and she's taken out. So they wipe away the Radcliffe LMD, they melt that one down, they melt Ada down, or the first Ada, and of course Coulson is very attached to May, so that was the one thing he couldn't really do. So we'll just see how that plays out next week, but I am very excited for it, and I thought this was a really good episode revolving around the silly premise of the Koenigs and just how funny they are, just watching Patton Oswalt be like 4 different people, or 3, he was 3 in this episode, and they introduced, I forgot what the brother was, but the one who didn't want to be in S.H.I.E.L.D, they introduced that one, and he was funny, and he has like the sheep t-shirt and stuff, and he's doing like slam poetry and stuff like that, and I just thought it was really funny. And their sister was definitely funny, like when she beat up the guy, and they reveal that, you know, she's the agent, and she's like, oh, sorry about kicking your candy ass and stuff, and I just thought that was funny. And it's very interesting because that actress, she's in another show that I really love called It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and she was almost the exact same character, which is, whoa. I did not expect that. But Sadie, yeah, she's just gonna bark now, so I'm gonna have to end it. But that she was almost the same character as she is. She just didn't swear as much, but I thought that was really funny. But like I said, I enjoyed this episode. I'd love to know what you guys thought about it, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts, and I definitely want to know what you guys think they will end up getting out of Coulson. I'm assuming that at some point they will actually capture him, but where do you think they'll actually go from there? Like I said, personally speaking, all he's done is show up in like all the pictures they show was like, actually the 2 pictures they did show were both from Thor. It was like the actual end scene from Thor when he first finds the crater, and then the other scene was just the facility that they had, and he's just standing there, which I don't know how he got either of those pictures. It's like someone was right next to him, and well, there are a ton of people from S.H.I.E.L.D. that were Hydra, so I guess that's an example. But I would love to know what you think they're actually going to end up getting out of Coulson that could possibly help them stop Inhumans. Like, where could they possibly go with that even makes sense? So we'd love to know your theories on that, and like I said, I would love to know what you guys thought about this episode in general, so please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.